So I'm Billy. I live in Bristol in England. I play rugby at level 8, I think. So quite low level grassroots rugby. And just a bit about myself. So I used to weigh about 160 kilos. Got myself down to around 105 a few years back. But one thing I noticed is as I lost the weight, I started to get injured a bit more. Um, Stopped enjoying myself as much with not just rugby but with fitness. And I started gaining the weight back where I was injured, so I wasn't able to move as much, and I kind of felt like I had finished and had done it all. So yeah, struggled a bit on that. Yeah, one of the things that before I joined Rugby Muscle, what I was struggling with is I was quite injury prone quite often, and I'd end up gaining weight and not necessarily losing it all after being injured and coming back from it. And I just stopped enjoying myself nearly as much because of the fact that I was spending so much time injured, and it just feels like a bit down when you're gaining the weight back that you worked so hard to lose previously. And I'd end up being down, moody, and not wanting to go out at all, just because of the fact that you work so hard to look a certain way and feel a certain way. When it starts to revert back to what it was, you don't feel great about it. Um, some of the things that were quite unexpected from doing this is it's kept me busy during lockdown, which is important. Like just gives me a clear structure to my day, which is exactly what I need. And also when I have been struggling mentally, TJ's helped me with that and kind of adapted what I'm doing quickly so that we don't kind of regress at all. We stay on track, and we might make slower progress, but slower progress is still progress, which is really good. There's a weight lifted off my shoulders of the fact that I don't have to like worry about kind of creating a program, following the program, and I've and also keeping myself accountable for that. I think that's a really big thing for me. Uh, Working with TJ, it clearly outlines what I need to do, how I need to do it, um, and where I go next, which is really good, and how I'm progressing from there. And with the weekly check-ins, I'm getting constant feedback on how I'm doing, if I've had a bad week or something like that, or even when I'm just feeling really demotivated. It helps to just add that bit of context and just have that third party to go to then be able to keep you accountable, but also just tell you that it's all right, because you can be probably your biggest critic yourself and just be a bit too hard on yourself sometimes. So it's good to have that kind of extra person just to tell you when you need to rein it in, but also tell you that you're actually doing all right and you're probably being a bit too hard on yourself. So yeah, the progression is a real big thing for me, and I've also gained a better understanding of how I work both physically and mentally. Just from having somebody else looking in, you get that different perspective of the way I am. I also have new skills to manage the kind of stress of life, in the way that I just approach things, which is like kind of something really useful that TJ's brought in is just showing me other ways to manage, like still achieving the goals, but not just giving up and just starting afresh, doing something in a different way. My diet and the way of tracking was tailored towards me, which was really good. When I first signed up, I spoke to TJ and said I've been used to tracking protein and calories before, but never really the others. I just kind of went with it, and whatever I was eating in the day, I made sure that I hit my protein and my calories, and then that was me done. And so we managed to adapt a way of doing it to that, which was really good. Uh, and there's also, with that feedback, there's the constant acknowledgement that there is a human element to it. You're not a robot. You're not going to eat the same meal 3 times a day and then be sorted, because you could only do that for a week at most. But what it means is you actually have that kind of like leeway here and there, and also just adapting your life, for any problems that occur. You can then counteract them, which is really good.